You raised money from Mr. Starwood, Mr. Barry Sternlicht. And you also just said that he's also one of the best, I guess we'd call him a hotelier in the industry. What's he better at, giving capital or building hotel brands, or both?
So we've done 3 deals with Barry, and in 2 of them, he brought us in as a development partner to help him execute his vision. And that was an incredibly hard job because this guy has the best vision in the world for hospitality, but doesn't always have the bandwidth to do it himself.
Yeah.
But is also, when he leans in, becomes the most hands-on guy you've ever seen.
Really?
And in one deal, he helped us out. He came into an investment that's a phenomenal investment on very short notice. We had an investor that had some issue. They were taking 50% of the deal. We had hard money up and they couldn't proceed. It was like an internal issue on their side. And Starwood ended up coming into the deal, and obviously they got great terms, but it's been a phenomenal partnership. They operate on a totally different level than a lot of other people, but they're actually very entrepreneurial in a way. Like, they're not as big from an acquisition and investment team as you would think. And we've learned a lot from them, just like they've learned from us. But one of the big things I've learned from Barry, particularly on the execution side, is you got to trust your instincts. You have to be involved, but you also got to hire some great, talented people to do it when you're not there. And he's built this one brand, out of one South Beach, out of nothing. And now it's taking over the world in a very differentiated way. Some deals they do with the fund and some deals they manage for others. But there is a big responsibility partnering with Starwood. Barry will call me and ask me how the hotel is doing. Like, he knows. His team aggregates all this data and he wants to know how his investment's doing. He is not a passive investor. When you're around this guy, he is always working, always thinking, and he is very curious, very personable. And I think that's been part of the key to his success. Like, I'm sure you've met successful people and they're just like weird to be around. He has the personal touch, but he can also execute and raise capital, like no one else.
He could have worked with anybody. How did this partnership come to be?
Luck.
Okay.
So I was at a hotel in California with my family, and I was talking to the concierge. We knew this hotel. We were talking to them about this new restaurant that I'd been to, and I was yapping away. And all of a sudden, Barry checks in, and I kind of see him at the corner of my eye. I'm like, oh shit. Like, this is Michael Jordan, okay? This is Michael Jordan for me. And he overheard me having this conversation. He travels with the chief of staff a lot of times. So
you started raising your voice a little,
okay, I'm going to be honest. I started raising my voice a little bit. He heard what I was saying. He knew I was kind of talking about hotels. And he had this guy come up to me. He's like, who are you? I was like, and I'm like, oh, I'm sure you want to know, because I saw Barry lurking behind him. And we said hello. We talked for 3 minutes. The next day, I happened to go out by the pool to read or do some work around 3 o'clock. And it was this weird time at the pool where there was only 4 lounge chairs in the sun. And I took one of them, and then Barry comes strolling out and he has to sit right next to me. So I'm like,
here we go.
Let's do it. So we have a great conversation. Barry he was living in Miami. I was living in Florida as well. So I'm like, all right, we're staying in touch. This is awesome. And then we kept talking, and it eventually evolved into conversations where he's like, hey, why don't you do kind of what you're doing for your business for me? And let's try it out and see what works. And forever grateful for him giving the opportunity, but more so grateful for, his friendship, because that's the most that I'm going to take away. It's not just the deal. It's, the mentorship, the friendship that will carry on.
Okay, so and can you describe at a high level? I'm not asking for details. When you decide to work with them, your role is X and their role is what?
So on the two deals that we did that were very similar, we were basically like a sliver equity partner.
Okay.
Where some of our sweat equity, converted to equity based on a certain return. And we had development fees. That was those two projects.
And was there already a building in place, or are you going out of the ground with this thing?
So one deal, we were going out of the ground. We were working in California doing entitlements for 3 years. That was a big project. And then COVID hit, that was challenging.
Yeah.
The other deal, they bought this incredible hotel in West Hollywood, which would soon become the One West Hollywood.
Yeah.
It lacked any soul, terrible design, brand new, beautiful building in the best location in essentially LA, and came in and executed the conversion to One on a very tight budget. And it was a lot of fun, a lot of travel, and the product turned out amazing. And now the hotel is ripping and doing incredibly well. And then the third deal, we are joint venture partners together.